No airports were closed, no power outages. Facepalm emoji was included in the statement. And to read up on the story that has gone viral, just head to our website at cbsmiami.com.
In December of 2023, police with rifles stormed a Miami mall. No robbery, no shooter, just chaos, and a deleted video of a kid running for his life from something nobody can explain. The official story changed 3 times. By the end of this episode, you'll see why some believe something crossed through that night and why we were never supposed to notice. A boy runs through Bayside Marketplace. His cracked phone is still recording. He yells for his mom, but the storefronts are empty now. Lights flicker, kiosks are abandoned. Then something moves behind him. Not footsteps, something slower. Like heavy fabric dragging across tile. He doesn't look back. The audio picks up a low, wet breath. Not human, then crash. Shattering glass, a flash of white light, and everything goes dark, like the world blinked. Just for a second. Police later said it was just a fight. No creature, no panic, no missing people. But there are no arrest records, no names, no press conferences, just deleted posts, shifting timelines, and silence. In this episode, we'll break down the tactical response that didn't match the threat, the missing suspects that may never have existed, and why this may have been part of a larger pattern across multiple cities. Because if something did slip through that night, then the scariest part isn't what showed up, it's how fast we were told to forget it. Hey, if you're still here, it means you're not just here for the surface level stories. You're chasing something deeper, like we are. So please do me a favor, hit subscribe, because if we don't build this community, the algorithm isn't going to help us and no one's going to tell these stories at all. Alright, onward. Something happened at Bayside Mall in Miami that night. Not weird internet rumor happened. Not kids goofing off happened. Something real. Something no one wants to explain. It's late December 2023. Cops swarmed a shopping mall. And we're not talking rent-a-cops with whistles. We're talking helmets, long guns, formation tactics. Like they were about to breach a hostage situation or something worse. Teenagers ran for their lives. People screamed, phones came out, and then the internet broke. TikToks, X threads, clips of chaos, and in the middle of it, a shape, a shimmer, a shadow. Some said it was 7-foot-tall creature. Others said it was nothing. And the cops? They just said, no threat found. Cool. Except if that's true, then where's the arrest report? Where's the mugshot? Where's the one person on Earth who will go on record and say, yeah, it was just a prank, bro? Nobody. Miami PD put out a tweet, then took it down, then changed the story 3 times. No press conference, no suspects, no CCTV footage. Just noise, scrubbed timelines, and a digital graveyard where the truth should have been. So what was it? A TikTok hoax? A psychological operation? Or something that didn't walk in through the front door, but phased through reality by accident? Because it wasn't a robbery, it wasn't a fight, and it sure as hell wasn't normal. Whatever happened in that mall, reality itself may have glitched to let it through. It was the first night of a brand new year. Families in Miami were still clinking glasses and watching fireworks when something very different was happening a few miles away at Bayside Marketplace, which is a crowded waterfront mall where tourists grab pizza, kids run between kiosks, and nobody expects anything worse than the pickpocket. At 8:34 p.m., that normal night ripped open. Phones out, people screaming, crowds stampeding from the food court as if something invisible had exploded. One of the first videos shows teenagers vaulting tables near Panda Express, a mother clutching her toddler as she bolts toward the exit. Within minutes, the chaos wasn't just in the mall, it was on TikTok, X, and Instagram, clips spreading like digital shrapnel. By 8:45 p.m., Miami police arrived. Not two officers with walkie-talkies, but a full tactical perimeter, multiple cruisers, long guns, helmets, formation tactics, exactly the kind of response you'd expect for an active shooter or hostage rescue, not a teenage scuffle. And then the story began to change. First, possible robbery. 10 minutes later, gang flash mob. Then, just a fight, nothing major. Right. Because small fights usually trigger rifles, helmets, and a total blackout of official information. Here's what we can still verify. Users geotagged the footage to Bayside's east entrance near the AMC. Multiple clips show the same wave of people running in raw terror. No weapons visible, no blood on the floor. Meanwhile, there are no arrest reports, no body cam videos, no official statement explaining why dozens of officers rolled in like a breach team. The one tweet Miami PD did post, situation under control, vanished within hours. No follow-up press conference, not even the usual kids will be kids quote to mop things up. So what started this? A creature sighting? A prank gone wrong? Some kind of acoustic weapon or frequency spike? We still don't know. But here's what we do know. The timeline doesn't match the story. The response doesn't match the threat. And the silence isn't normal. Because whatever triggered that panic at Bayside Mall still doesn't line up with the official timeline. Alright, so let's talk about the cops. Because this was not your usual two kids throwing punches near Auntie Anne's kind of deal. We're talking at least 2 or 3 dozen officers rolling up like they were about to kick in a cartel safe house. Ballistic helmets, tactical vests, AR-15s in a public mall, and formation tactics straight out of an urban warfare playbook. Now, if you've ever seen how police normally roll up to a mall fight, spoiler alert, it's not like this. They don't bring long guns to break up teenagers shoving each other over who stole whose vape. They don't form a tactical wedge to stroll past the food court. And they sure as hell don't surround an entire shopping center unless they think something's still inside and it's not human. So let's zoom in. Frame by frame, crowd videos from TikTok and X show officers moving in a sweep pattern, not chasing a suspect. No foot pursuit, no takedowns. They're scanning, weapons up, eyes tracking something. And here's the part nobody wants to say out loud. Their faces don't look like, hey, where's the dumb kid that set off a firecracker? They look like, don't blink or we die. We checked with multiple former LEOs, law enforcement officers. 2 retired cops told us this exact kind of response is reserved for active shooter, armed suspect, or containment of a threat with unknown capabilities. Not a fight, not a flash mob, not a robbery. This wasn't a chase, this was a hunt. And here's where it gets weirder. If it was a human threat, they'd have gone in with shields, verbal commands, canine units, body cams rolling. But there's no footage from the cops, no leak, no cell phone slip, no after-action report, just radio silence. It's like they weren't just responding to a threat, they were trying to contain something. So here's the official line. We arrested 6 juveniles. Situations under control. That's it. No names, no mugshots, no charges, no court dates, no follow-up articles. Just trust us, it's fine. And look, we get it. They're minors. Police don't have to release names when suspects are under 18 years old. But here's the thing, in every other major mall panic across the country, where fights actually broke out or stuff actually got stolen, local news still covered it. Reporters still got age ranges, charges, sometimes even quotes from parents or school officials. And usually, someone screws up and leaks something. But not this time. We checked Miami-Dade's booking logs. Nothing matches. No juveniles processed that night for disorderly conduct, assault, nothing. We tried reaching out to local crime reporters. Not one would talk on record, which is weird because if this were just a bunch of TikTok teens playing stupid games, you'd think the press would love dragging them. Instead, crickets. No perp walks. No teens face consequences. Headlines. No viral mugshots. Just a big, quiet shrug. Now, could the police be telling the truth? Sure. Maybe they did arrest 6 kids and the system's just airtight. But we've seen this move before. Peru 2023. Villagers said they were attacked by 7-foot aliens. The government said it was illegal miners on jetpacks. No arrests, no names. Sound familiar? Brazil 2020. UFO spotted. Huge response. Then radio silence. No suspects, no explanation. Sometimes the easiest way to erase a story is to invent a fake ending. So yeah, we got him. Don't worry about it. But you can't hide receipts that never existed. Because at this point, it's not that the suspects vanished. It's that they may have never existed. If you were online the night this happened, you probably saw it all. Blurry videos, shaky screams, blurry shapes, and a dozen people yelling over each other in the comments like it was the Super Bowl of confusion. Some said it was a giant creature, 7, 8, 9 feet tall, glowing eyes, non-human proportions. Others said it looked like a shimmering blur, like someone in a heat wave but up close. And some people, they didn't see anything, but they heard it. Loud pops, high-pitched screeches, and this is weird, a few said there was no sound at all, like a vacuum hit the air for a few seconds. Silence so heavy, it made your ears ring. And this wasn't just internet drama. These were kids, adults, mall staff, even one guy working security who posted, then deleted a video saying, "It wasn't a person. I don't care what they say, it wasn't a person." Now here's where it gets messy. The deeper you dig, the more this thing fractures into chaos. Early TikToks? Gone. Some videos that got 300,000 views that night? Deleted or muted. Same clips reposted a day later? Audio's missing. Descriptions changed. One girl originally said it looked like a monster near the garage. Then edited for it to say it was just a tall guy in a hoodie. Laugh out loud. So which is it? We ran multiple posts through archive.org, the Wayback Machine. Several had completely different captions the night of the event compared to what people left up later. It's like reality got patched. And don't even get us started on the bots. We ran a sample of the debunked comments through bot detection tools. You know the ones. Y'all be so gullible, laugh out loud. That's just AI lightning SMH. Fake news, go touch grass. Over 60% came from accounts created within 48 hours of the event. No profile pic, no history. All parroting the same dismissive tone. Almost like someone wanted the internet to laugh and move on. Because the thing about viral panic is this. It doesn't matter what actually happened. It matters what people think happened. And by the time everyone started yelling hoax or clout chasing, the truth might have already been buried under 10,000 views of intentional noise. So let's say for just a second this wasn't a prank. It wasn't a kid in a mask. And it wasn't E.T. out shopping for socks at the mall. What if it was something else? Something that wasn't fully here. Like it phased in, then phased out. Now, before you roll your eyes and start Googling alien fan fiction, hear this. Scientists have already toyed with this idea, just not with monsters in malls. They call it quantum phase interference or light phase manipulation. Basically, stuff can exist, but not fully register, depending on how light hits it. It bends, flickers, goes invisible, not in a Hollywood way, in a physics way. Even the CIA was into it. Back in the 1980s, the CIA released a report called the Gateway Process. No, not a Stargate. It was a legit study on human perception, energy fields, and states of consciousness. The takeaway? Reality might be layered, and under the right conditions, layers can bleed. Think of it like a radio. You're tuned in to 98.1 FM, but just for a second you pick up a voice from 101.3, bleeding through the static. Skinwalker Ranch, same vibe. People there have reported things phasing in and out of visibility, even showing up on thermal cameras, but not to the human eye. And then there's the spooky stuff. The quantum computer company D-Wave once described their machine like this. It's like we're summoning answers from parallel realities. Now that's not marketing fluff. That's their chief scientist. And look, we're not saying Miami got hit with a glitch in the Matrix. But if someone or something popped in without warning, and our brains weren't wired to handle it, that might explain the reports of shimmering, silence, and chaotic panic. Because if it wasn't all the way here, if it was just partially bleeding through, then whatever was in the mall that night, it might still be trying to get back. What if Miami wasn't the only glitch? 4 days before the Bayside Mall panic, something eerily similar happened at the Galleria in Houston, Texas. December 27, 2023. Families finishing holiday shopping. Then sudden chaos. People running full speed through the food court, screaming, collisions, abandoned strollers. Police labeled it as a false active shooter call. But no gun was found, no shooter, no injuries. And just like in Miami, no arrests. Only shaky video of total panic. Then on December 30th, just 2 days before Bayside, another mall incident. This time in Atlanta, Georgia, in the Lenox Square. Witnesses described the metallic sound that hit the air, followed by a blast of fear. People driving over railings, sprinting down escalators, dropping their phones and bags like something was chasing them. One shopper said it felt like the air changed. Another said the lights flickered. Then everything went wrong. Weird things happen in malls. But what are the odds of this? 3 cities, 3 major malls in 1 week. Mass panic, 0 weapons found, 0 suspects, 0 explanations, and a digital trail that fizzles out like a magic trick. We pulled police blotters from all 3 incidents. Every report followed the same script. Disruption, no threat found, investigation closed. Even the language witnesses used began to overlap. It felt wrong, like we weren't supposed to see it. It looked blurry wrong. That's exactly the kind of thing people say when they encounter something their brain can't process. So, what are we looking at here? 3 isolated incidents? Or something coordinated? Because if it wasn't a coincidence, if it wasn't one panic but a pattern, then this might not have been a glitch. It might have been a test, a probe, a dry run, and we didn't recognize it in time. So, a mall full of chaos, cops with rifles, kids running for their lives, thousands of phones out, millions of views. And the next day, nothing. Not one major outlet ran a real full up. No CNN breakdown, no Vice investigation, not even a BuzzFeed top 10 freakouts at food courts list. It got buried so fast you'd think the story committed a felony. And the weirdest part, it wasn't just silence, it was mockery. Within hours of the Miami clips going viral, blue check accounts started pumping out the same exact tone. It was just a fight. Teens being dramatic. Touch grass. Okay, but here's a question. How did these people know anything before police said anything? Now, we're not saying every snarky tweet is a government op, but let's talk about patterns. Ever heard of Project Mockingbird? Well, it was a real CIA program in the 1950s where the agency placed assets inside media companies to control the news. And that's not a theory, it's not conspiracy, that's declassified. Fast forward to today, and we've traded trench coats for algorithms. You can flood a story with so much noise, so many fake debunks, that no one knows what's real anymore. We ran bot detection tools on some of the most viral Miami hoax posts. Many came from new accounts with no bio, no history, all posting within the same window. That's not organic, that's intentional traffic jamming. And there's another layer nobody's touching. You ever heard of fusion centers? Well, they're regional hubs where local police, federal agents, and private security teams all share data. There are dozens of them across the United States. And malls? Malls are prime partners because they're public, packed, and wired up with cameras. If something slipped through at Bayside, something not supposed to exist, you better believe that footage went to a backroom console long before it ever hit your feed. This wasn't just about erasing the story. It was about shaping how you remember it. Laugh it off, call it dumb, make people feel stupid for even asking questions. Because that's how you kill a story without firing a shot. They didn't just erase this story. They made us ashamed for ever seeing it. Okay, so let's pause for a second. Everything we've covered so far, the shimmering figure, the mass panic, the armed police sweeping them all like they were in a war zone, it sounds unbelievable, maybe even impossible. And that's okay to feel. It's what most people feel at first. But sometimes the truth doesn't start with belief, it starts with patterns. And history is full of patterns just like this. Skinwalker Ranch, once dismissed as paranormal nonsense, until the Pentagon funded a real defense contractor to study it. Military officers, PhDs, and government scientists have all come forward saying the same thing. We saw things we weren't trained to understand. Would they really stop short at covering up something strange in a mall? And what about Peru 2023, where villagers claimed that they were being attacked by glowing floating entities nearly 7 feet tall? I made a video on this. The official explanation? Just illegal miners with jetpacks. No names, no gear, no arrests. Now, we're not saying aliens showed up in Miami. We're not saying a dimensional glitch broke through near the food court. We're saying it wasn't nothing. Because nothing doesn't leave that many people running. Nothing doesn't get this kind of tactical response. And nothing doesn't require that much silence afterward. If this keeps happening in city after city, mall after mall, and the answer is always some variation of, oops, never mind, you're not crazy for asking questions. You're careful. You're awake. Because the most dangerous cover-up isn't always a lie. Sometimes it's silence. So let's say just for a moment that it was real. Something crossed through that night. Something we weren't ready for. Not fully here, not fully gone. Just long enough to be felt, long enough to be feared. And most people, they didn't even see it. So, what does that say about us? Because maybe the scariest part isn't what appeared at the mall, it's what we did afterwards. We laughed, we minimized, we turned it into a trending sound. We rewrote captions, deleted posts, edited reality to make it easier to live with. And maybe that's human, because if the world really is bending, even just a little, then it's safer to look away than stare too long at the crack. But what if it wasn't a threat? What if it was just passing through? What if it was lost, curious, or confused? And instead of meeting it with attention or compassion, we mocked it. We scrubbed it. We told the kid who saw it that he was imagining things. We convinced ourselves the moment was never real. Maybe the danger isn't what crossed into our world. Maybe the danger is what we're willing to forget just to keep pretending everything's normal. Because in the end, the most haunting part of the Bayside Mall incident might not be what showed up. It might be how quickly we agreed to erase it. All right, folks, if you made it this far, you're not just watching a video. You're helping dig up the stories they'd rather stay buried. This isn't a conspiracy channel. It's a truth-first investigation channel. We ask questions they ignore. We chase patterns they erase. And we don't flinch when things get weird. If that matters to you, please share this video, subscribe, and support the mission on Patreon if you can. It's over at patreon.com/Divergent Files. Because the deeper we dig, the less alone we feel in asking, what else have they hidden in plain sight? And until next time, stay curious, stay grounded, and remember, no matter what they tell you, the truth is still out there. These investigations are powered by those who believe truth still matters. Thank you to our Patreon supporters. Join the mission at patreon.com/Divergent Files.